Now, the past couple of days, it's not been looking good for Lucasfilm, and especially Disney, generally speaking, and given that we have people like out there, Kathleen Kennedy and James Mangold, as well as, of course, others out there like John Watts and Leslie Headland really panicking over all of the projects associated with Lucasfilm, like Skeleton Crew, Acolyte, and Indy 5, Lucasfilm is in really bad shape right now, and we're going to be covering exactly what's going on behind closed doors when it comes to a financial mess between Lucasfilm and Disney. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. And without further ado, let's get right into the subject. Now, we know that Indy 5's box office projections are looking quite terrible. Now, where it stands, we know that the budget for Indy 5 is around $295 million to $300 million, and that does not apparently count the marketing that they did pour in, as little as it really was, into Indy 5. Now, on top of this, we know that there's been quite a number of box office failures so far with Disney. The Little Mermaid has not met their expectations, as well as Elemental really tanking at the box office and not performing very well as expected. And now we have the latest with The Dial of Destiny that's really on track for really bad numbers, as well as Disney Plus losing a lot of subscribers for this holiday season. So let's get right into this. Now, on top of all of this, alright, with Disney and Lucasfilm currently embracing the release of Indy 5, Skeleton Crew, and the Ahsoka Tano series, one big development that is not looking good for Lucasfilm right now involves the release of both Indy 5 and Skeleton Crew for this year that is planned to lead Lucasfilm and Disney into a financial disaster. Now, it's noted that as of right now, per Disney executives, they are tracking Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny, to only gain around, for example, $150 million domestic. This is described to be near similar to what happened with Fast X, with $140 million or so, as this too bombed at the box office, as well as Little Mermaid, with Indy 5 holding a budget of $300 million and not expecting to even garner $150 million domestic in the first couple of weeks. Right now, executives over at Disney, between subscriber loss projections for Skeleton Crew on Disney Plus and the underperformance of Indy 5 for the lack of marketing, for starters, they are expecting to lose, just for starters, around $100 million alone for Indy 5, and a large dip in subscribers from Disney Plus for Star Wars content after Ahsoka releases, as Skeleton Crew is described to be yet another controversial series, as John Watts and Kathleen Kennedy completely marvelized the entire franchise. Now, let me pause here for 1 second. Now, the thing about Indy 5, and the reason why I brought up Fast X before, even though it's not a Disney movie, is that is a prime example of something that just needs to end already, right? I don't know about you guys, but Fast and Furious is way too overdone. They have to just cut things loose, and there's 2 more coming out, mind you. And this is another example, though. They are tracking $150 million, and that's if, for domestic in the first couple of weeks for Indiana Jones 5, The Dial of Destiny. Worldwide speaking, you know, that obviously is going to be a larger number, but given that they wasted so much money on this movie because it's the most expensive Indiana Jones film yet, and yes, that's a fact, it's the most expensive one, regardless of inflation, this is the most expensive movie yet. And that just goes to show you that they really went a little too overboard on this one, financially speaking. Now, between this and what's happening with Skeleton Crew and what they are embracing with the Acolyte, which, by the way, is described to be The Last Jedi 2.0, because that's how much of a fan divider the Acolyte really is going to be. We've been talking about what Leslie Headland has been describing, what she thinks about George Lucas, and how she wants nothing to do with him and his work. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, and just Disney and Lucasfilm keep doubling down, making mistake after mistake. The only saving grace, the only Hail Mary, are Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, with Star Wars Ahsoka and Mandalorian Season 4, which, by the way, are getting a completely different treatment of how Star Wars is handled to create a momentum, to really kind of kickstart things again, to boost fan engagement levels. However, I've seen a lot of fans reaching out to me that they're not all that impressed with the Ahsoka Tano series. I don't know about you guys, but from what I've seen in the trailer, so far it looks promising. I have really nothing to complain about just yet. Sure, I know some people are going to point this out. It is a very strong female-led story, and I get why some fans may not like that, but we also have to remember that a lot of these characters existed in Star Wars Rebels and the Clone Wars, so I don't really see a big argument there, but it's all about how you execute that, right? If you execute that perfectly, then I'm okay with it. But if it's going to be agenda-filled garbage, then obviously it's not going to work. But Dave Filoni isn't really all about that. What Dave Filoni is all about is making an example. Making a strong female-led show, but without the agenda. That's what he's all about. And he's doing this in a way to kind of reshape how you think about that way. That's basically apparently his strategy of what he's doing behind the scenes. So anyways, moving on, alright? This is a big financial hit for Lucasfilm as they are already lowering their budgets, get this, for the upcoming Star Wars movies such as the Rey film, which begins shooting in April of 2024, and they are also limiting their budget with all Star Wars shows moving onwards, which is another bad sign. This is all a reaction to current box office projections for Indy 5 and anticipated sub-loss from Disney Plus due to Skeleton Crew and the Acolyte. Disney is currently panicking and planning a new strategy for Lucasfilm with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, as their only saving grace as of now with the help of Tony Gilroy. With Bob Iger as planning to step down as CEO by next year, it's not looking good for Disney, so to speak. Now here's the other problem. We know that Bob Iger and the Disney executives and the board are in a constant shakeup. Bob Iger wants to, or is in the process of canceling a large batch of Star Wars films. And the executives want more Star Wars movies. They want to keep putting these things out in theaters or on the Disney Plus platform. That's really the battle right now between Bob Iger and the board/executives. And I just feel the less movies, the better. You know, you don't want to keep pumping these things out too much. It kind of loses its tone or its value or its impact on surprise, right? You want to space things out. I feel if you space things out, that's more than enough. But anyways, guys, this is a very big and interesting development because Indy 5 is about to boost up its marketing at last minute, and that's also going to cost them a lot more money, tens of millions of dollars reportedly. They're going to be doubling down on the marketing because they realize they made a big mistake. So expect around next week, I would say, you're going to see a big boost in ads being provided on TV, on the internet, etc. And that's all because of this last-minute marketing plan that they're investing in. And that, too, is putting them into more trouble of a bigger financial loss. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Fill me in below what you all have to say about this. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. And I will catch you guys next time.
Night to moon, we hear them moans again.